Okay, so the film I'm thinking of right now is Lost Boys, and I gotta do all the research on Lost Boys. It's one of my favorite. This is only, you know, an ounce of genius compared to Lost Boys, but I wanted to kind of go over some things I'm adding. I didn't print it out last night. I told you I would, but I'm going to try tonight my very best. We got around the 8th, okay. And tomorrow I have a gig, and so this would be my only window. I'm gonna test me, babe. How about this for a quiz? She's cool. Okay. So she gets sprayed. I don't want to say zapped. She gets sprayed by Old Sherry, which is the silver canister of lava thing. It's silver. There's silver light that comes out. It's very bright. This is a makeshift thing that he invented that we're gonna have to describe and get in here. So it's like maybe he took these old. John Blacksmith is more than just a welder. He's a craft guy. He's a genius. He's got crazy hair. Maybe tattoos. We're gonna have to have tattoos on his hand because his hand gets cut off and fried in a skillet. Actually, I'm gonna have to add that. So he's gonna have a tattoo on his hand. But the canister is built by many other like fire extinguisher canisters that are very large and bulky. It looks like something that was homemade, but it has this little green light on it, and he's testing it in beta before he goes after the wolf with it. But so it's a character, and Old Sherry's a character in it that I'm slowly building. Listen, I'm giving this early version of Grim Life. This is nowhere near finished, okay? But the chunk of it is there. This would be like, a lot of the paint is there. Michelangelo is doing the Sistine Chapel. A lot of the paint is there, and it's getting ready. But what are we at now? Right now, we're at like 178. It could be a 200 pager. The reason I'm doing this is because, or I'm vlogging this little section, is because we may have to do a reading and then print out what we have. But you know, maybe a film is just a glimpse of the full masterpiece, you know, that these people will probably, that'll be watched in hell. I don't know where this thing would go and where it came from. I have no clue. It just came from the air. But this is all the hunting stuff. Yeah. Okay. So I did include the hunting camera. So that's what I was probably looking for right now. So there's the 3 knocks, and then 1 knock got me. Got you. Good luck, my friend. You too, dear boy. And all that stuff, right? And then it's and then there's some of the vlogging. The vlogging continues. You know, there's a silver thing. Welcome to Monster Quest. We're here at the fence line along the hill on Grace. It's also kind of an homage to Fright Night, for sure. I would probably say maybe Fright Night more than Lost Boys. But I'm mixing kind of the two and stuff. And also there's mention of Oregon. I know that Oregon is kind of a big horror film kind of thing. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it's just Goonies was shot in Astoria. Heck of a device, huh, Wolf? You don't want to show yourself now, do you, scaredy cat? So here he's bragging about Old Sherry, fires off a shot. We're watching you, Rainey. Okay, this is it right here. So eventually there's a field at the base of the hill, Grace's ranch that night. Gerald Ullman III kneels and places a wood spike into the ground and attaches a muddy mitigator cellular trail camera and turns it on. So that's what he bought at the hunting outlet. You know, Barksville hunting outlet. Because they were talking about getting cameras. You know, hunting cameras. Close up, Gerald Ullman III. We're watching you, Rainey. You must be the beast. Say cheese. Okay, and then Gerald Ullman III begins crawling to his next position to survey the farm. John meets the lycanthrope, okay? And that's when we get into the attack. He says, Gerald, you know, he says, you're not Gerald. And then that's the werewolf appears, and then the dagger sticks in the wolf's shoulder. This is interesting. So John pulls out a silver dagger from his backpack and throws it at the beast. Okay, this must be one of the daggers that he would have made. The dagger sticks in the wolf's shoulder, and the wolf-like creature cries out and runs into the corner of the barn and hides in the shadows for a moment. Because silver, in this aspect of the werewolf, any type of silver is very harmful, even if even if it touches them. And what I'm doing too is that it can transform them back into their original form. The silver can, depending on the purity of the silver and if it's on them for too long. You can compare this to how the silver treats the vampires in, what was it, True Blood? I want to say it was True Blood. But yeah, because True Blood is also in the essence of this too, if you've seen the series True Blood. Regardless, the silver does turn her back into, she doesn't die, but we don't know what happens to her until the sequel. She becomes unconscious. So John takes out the camera and turns it on. This is John Blacksmith. I've cornered the beast in the barn. He's trying to kill me. Okay, that's John Blacksmith. I'm sorry. This is John Blacksmith. I've cornered the beast in the barn. He's trying to kill me. I was able to pierce its shoulder with a silver throwing dagger. He's somewhere close. I'll keep you posted. Over and out. Think of the Frog Brothers, kind of, or just one version of them, or something kind of like that. You know, he presses the stop button on the camera and crawls under the ladder and behind a bale of hay. Cut to back of barn. Moments later, Gerald Ullman III arrives at the back of the barn wearing his goggles, backpack, and carrying a silver spray container. Now he has a silver spray container, but it's just basically just a spray bottle. Okay. I guess a container is a bottle. Haven't been calling it the container. Silver spray bottle. I guess I can say spray bottle container. He has a beta version of the liquid silver. So he's carrying a silver spray bottle container. I guess just silver spray bottle is fine. I just have to. He hears a commotion and the howling on the inside. Dear boy, don't worry, I'm on my way. This is when he gets to him finally. You know what's weird about Oldman is old dame with the E. It's weird. Gerald Old, switch there. Crawls down the ladder and sneaks over to old Sherry. He picks up the canister and slowly walks over to the wolfish shadow. Gerald, okay, oh dear. Okay, Gerald is the one that does it. Okay, give me a moment. All right, I fixed the problem. I just remembered that Gerald actually sprays her with the old Sherry, so that happens. For a minute, I thought it was John, but John tries to, but it gets damaged, so. He returns back. He says, looks like she got you. The rib, she pierced it with her claw. It's not too bad. Is it still bleeding? Just a tad. I've got a medical kit on me. Yeah, this is right after I can only capture them. I was lying to you about killing the beast. I only study werewolves. I don't kill them. Pull the freaking trigger before it kills me. Pull it. It's green. Pull the trigger. The monster turns to Gerald and hisses. Gerald closes his eyes and pulls the trigger of the canister. Oh, for the love of God, save me. I bet you look good in silver, huh, Rainey? Gerald pulls the trigger. The werewolf is struck by the liquid silver lava from the canister, and the beast runs out of the barn yapping. Now we're cutting to the barnyard. Gerald helps John walk to a piece of plywood next to the hen house. The chickens wildly cluck. Gerald Ullman III. Looks like she got you. The rib, she pierced it with her claw. It's not too bad. It's still bleeding? Just a tad. I've got a medical kit on me. Gerald dresses his wound. Thanks. You sprayed her with old Sherry. She's hurt bad. She ran off yapping. I think the canister's leaking and needs repair. We'll have to ditch. Oh, okay, I see. We'll have to ditch old Sherry behind. You still have the spray can? Yes, I have her spotted on the monitor toward the ranch house. It's her, John. She's Rainey's the werewolf, I'm pretty sure. Technically, she would be a she-wolf. Then a freaking she-wolf, then. I'm sure it is her. She ran into the ranch house. Rainey was in full form. She walked into the house as she owned the place. Then let's kill the bitch. She's quite the bitch indeed. Gerald pulls out his smartphone, turns the camera on, begins vlogging himself. Good evening, Monster Quest. I'm here with John Blacksmith, the YouTube sensation for making silver weaponry to kill werewolves. He has recently been struck by a beast of the night, possible werewolf, and we believe it resides in Boxville, Texas. To be exact, she resides at Grace Lipin's retired UFC champion ranch house. Her name is Rainey Love. She has just ran from an injury due to John's werewolf extinguisher. She has named that he has named old Sherry. It's a beta model, still working on her. Kills werewolves. Quiet, John. I'm vlogging for the show. I'm bleeding here. It's not that bad. Okay, we're planning to survey the area and eventually confront this newly found she-wolf. We're gonna kill the Gerald cuts off his phone, I guess. Gerald's phone, I guess I could say Gerald's, hang on. All right, here we go. Going back here. He says, it's not that bad, okay? I'm sorry, let's do it this way. I'm bleeding here. It's not that bad, okay? We're planning to survey the area and eventually confront the newly found she-wolf. We're gonna kill the biatch. Gerald turns the smartphone off. Watch the language, John. YouTube has trouble monetizing such foul language. Regardless, we're gonna kill the biatch. Hopefully, it won't come to that. Cut 2. Gerald helps John to the ranch house. So that's the scene title right here, I guess. And then Gerald drapes John's arm around his shoulder and helps him limp along a trail to Grace's ranch. This is at the field before ranch house moments later. I think I can show the footage to Grace and convince him to be our ally. How do we prove the beast is Rainey? It practically would have to see her transform. Jesus love. When Mike can get there. Cut 2. The backyard of the ranch house moments later. The back fence doors open. Gerald helps John through the door. He looks up and notices back sliding doors open. Should have the back door open. We should just walk in, talk to Grace, show him it's her. And that's where I'm at right now. Okay. I think John is going to answer here. Talk to Grace. Show him it is her. I think he's going to reveal his pain right here. Probably say something about his wound. Because his rib. This is before he gets his hand bit off. All right, these are the scenes that I was talking about. These are just, they were written in one lines, but they've turned into like little kind of little, almost just little moments. Backyard ranch house, mostly the back fence doors open. Gerald helps John through the door. He looks up and notices the back sliding doors open. They walk into the back door. Shut off the back door open. We should just walk in, talk to Grace, show him it's her. My side's hurting pretty bad. Just set me on the couch. Gerald sits John on the couch and begins searching for Grace within the ranch house. Interior kitchen area. Moments later, Gerald walks into the kitchen holding a spray bottle of silver liquid before him. Whoosh. Close up. Spray bottle falling to the ground. Wide shot of kitchen areas. Gerald falling to his knees. Gerald spins around and sprays the beast with the bottle. The she-wolf doubles over and begins to transform back into her original form. In her original form, Rainey knocks Gerald over and scratches his back. She picks him up and tosses him, and he goes flying across the room and crashes on the couch. Okay. All right, so the she-wolf doubles over and begins to transform back into her original form. In her original form, Rainey knocks Gerald over and scratches his back. She picks him up and tosses him, and he goes flying across the room and crashes against a bookshelf. Gerald has a scratch mark down his back. Okay. So we cut to interior living room. Moments later, Gerald lies on the living room floor in pain, breathing heavily. Couch. Moments later, John lies on the couch holding his side. Rainey appears before him. She is half transformed. Rainey is nearly the lycanthrope. John reaches for one of his daggers in his backpack. The lycanthrope bites John's blacksmith's hand. John screams in pain. John screams, "Oh God, my hand!" Cut to wide shot of ceiling. The shadow of John's hand being bit by the lycanthrope. Howling arises. Close up ceiling. Blood spews on the ceiling. Cut to kitchen that night. Grace walks into the kitchen. Okay. So yeah, I think that might can fit because we see them fighting in the living room. It's not terribly long. We see the shadow of the wolf biting his hand. I don't know how we would do that. We have to maybe work on something. Then we're into the last kind of sequence in the kitchen, which will have some dialogue. After that dialogue, it's going to go to Grace and Rainey, their love for each other right here. She's talking about something hurts me real bad. Just hang on. The paramedics are on their way, and then all that stuff. And we hear the sirens and stuff, and then we get into the final scene. The only thing that I think that we're probably going to have trouble with is the word sire. Okay. It sticks out. It's going to have to be done in the acting. Sir, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say, sire? So this is kind of an homage, or not even an homage, but a relation, almost an anachronism in a line. Rather than anachronisms happen in literature when you're out of time and you bring in something that's from another time. It can be like, let's say, if you're set in the Roman time and someone's wearing like a Rolex watch, that would be an anachronism because it's out of place. So the anachronism is in the dialogue here. I guess maybe there's a story that's related to all this from Roman times. So it's connected to another story. And we only get a hint of that towards the very end when Grace says, what are you trying to say, sire? And you're like, what in the world? He doesn't talk that way. And then, tell me what you were trying to say. And he's talking to him before he gets on the ambulance, because it's going to relate back to another story, and there's sequels and stuff to this, but not in this particular one. Okay. Well, we're going to the library to return some of Linda's movies that she got. She likes I Love Lucy and also Little House on the Prairie. October 10th. It's about 82 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're dealing with 196,006 miles on the speedometer. I haven't seen this restaurant yet. It's called Avianos. It's pizza and pasta and subs. They also have a Buddhist temple here too. It's a meditation center. Wat. It's called Wat. Here we are, White Settlement Library, the home of Browser the cat, who was made famous by City Hall when they decided to reinstate Browser's stay, because there was argument that he was, because of cat allergies, he wouldn't be able to stay, but now the kids come here and they pet Browser. So we have books and we have media. So we're going media. Linda's a big fan of that genre of television. Leave It to Beaver, I Love Lucy, and all that. Little House on Prairie. I like it too. It's comforting. Especially I Love Lucy. I think that one's great. Oops, just ran over a werewolf.